2, 1. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Reactor live stream session. We are joined today by Shakir, who's going to take us through what's new with the Common Data Service and talk about Microsoft Project Oakdale as well, which is quite new. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the Q&A box. If you can't find the Q&A box, I've already popped a little message in there for you. And yes, the session will be recorded and uploaded to our Reactor YouTube channel, and I will share the links in the Q&A for you. Without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Shakir and enjoy the session. Thanks, everyone.
Hello, guys. It's Shakir here. Thank you, Nadia, for introducing me. My name is Shakir Majeed Khan, and let me tell you about myself a little bit. So I'm working as a senior technical lead at Insys, which is part of Optus Telecom over here in Australia. So I'm based in Sydney, Australia, and I am a Microsoft certified expert, and then I'm a Microsoft certified trainer as well. I got 13 years of experience. So I started my career as a SharePoint and ASP.NET developer, and then I moved on into consulting role, and then into the technical lead role as well. I'm running my YouTube channel, which is SMK Geek Speak. SMK is my shorter form of my name, is Shakir Majeed Khan. So SMK Geek Speak, and you can follow my YouTube channel over here in this URL, and you can connect me at Twitter as well. My Twitter handle is @meetsmk, and you can go to my website, which is http://shakirmajeed.com. All right. So now let's move to our agenda. What today we will be discussing. So we will discuss about Common Data Service, what is all about, and then we will discuss why to use Common Data Service, and afterwards Common Data Model, what is Common Data Model versus Common Data Service, and then we move to entities, then entity relationship between entity like one-to-many or many-to-many or whatever, and then we later discuss fields, and after that I'll show you some demo, like how to work on this Common Data Service, entities, entity relationships, fields, and at the very end I will discuss about Project Oakdale. Let me move to my next slide. So Common Data Service lets you securely store and manage data that's used by business applications. So data within the Common Data Service stored within a set of entities, and entity is a set of records used to store data, similar how you store data in a table format, table in a database. So basically, like the Common Data Service it sits beneath this Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents, and you can use this Power Platform and the Common Data Service to store your data into the database, and then you can move the data into the Azure Data Lake as well, and other data sources as well. So in order to create your application with respect to entities and entity relationship, you can use the Common Data Service, which works fantastically well with Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. And Yes, so let's move to our next slide. So why to use common data service, which is quite a common question that, okay, I'm using Power Apps, I'm using Power Automate or Power Virtual Agent. So, and I'm connecting with my SharePoints and I'm connecting with any other data source. So why do I require to have a common data service? So the idea behind the common data service is to have a common data source, and where you can easily manage your data. So basically the data and the metadata are stored in the cloud, so you don't need to worry about how they have stored and the overall schema. So when it is there established as an entity and relationship and everything, so you can easily plug and play with your Power Platform applications, and easy to secure. So security is a big thing in common data service. So you can secure the data at a very level, like at the entity level, at the field level, and you have like this role-based security as well. So you can secure the data with the role-based. Let's suppose that some of the user they are on the admin side, some of the user on the user side. So you can define the role-based security, and then you can add those user into the role base, and then the user can access only that data which they are allowed to see or work on it. And the beauty of this common data service is that you can access your Dynamic 365 data at very ease. So you can easily plug and play and leverage and extend your application by using Dynamic 365 data. Rich metadata. So the metadata itself is quite rich, which comes with the entity. So you can have like the multiple metadata with the entity, and then you can play around with that metadata. Logics and validation. So you can put a field validation, you can have a calculated columns, you can have a business rule, you can have a workflows, you can have like different kind of thing, the business process flows to manage the logic and the validation in the data layer. Usually we tend to write a logic or the validation at our business layer or the UI layer. But if you want to manage the logic or the validation at the data layer, so you can do that logic and the validation within the common data service. And productivity and the tools. Like you have Microsoft Excel add-in available in your CDS, so you can export the data, and then you can work on the data, and then you can see what the data is all about. So and the good part is that CDS, so that you can hook your events, and you can have your webhooks which would listen from your if it's like any crude operations which is performing in your common data service. Okay. Now we will move to next slide. Common data model. So common data model is an open data model which is being developed by the Microsoft, and then with the industry experts to have rich rich layer of entities and different relationships, so that the user so that the developer or a power user who wants to create a quick application out of Dynamic 365 data or any other data, so they just come in and then develop any application. So the CDM itself provide you different levels or different sets of entities and then the relationships which can be used to create those which can be utilized by a CDS, and then the user or the developer or the power user can develop application by using the CDM. Okay, so I'll show a very bit complex very detailed pictures. So in my next slide. Yep. All right, so as you can see, the common data model includes a set of standardized, extensible data scheme, as I mentioned, by Microsoft and its partner. And then it will have like the different relationship semantics and semantic metadata and etc. So as you can see, it has code like the one is core entities. Then there is a dynamic 365. So if you're coming from a dynamic 365 background, so you can find relevant entities in CDM, which is like as showing as a sales, services, finance, supply chain, commerce, and marketing. And different organization and different application, they have their own CDMs, like the healthcare and the human resource and the project operations. So so that's it for the common data model. So now let's move to entities. Yeah, so the entities show you a kind of a look of a SharePoint list. If you guys coming from a SharePoint background, so it looks like a SharePoint list, and you can see like there are number of columns, which is like entities, name, type, customization, and tags. So whenever you create a new entity or that's gonna come over here. And if you are working on any existing entity, or you want to extend any existing entity, so you need to go over there, and then you can work on the entity. So the entity is so basically, as I mentioned, it just looks like a SharePoint list. So you have like you have list of different columns, and then the different columns also, and an entity will give you a kind of a relation, kind of a like if you think about a database, so it's kind of a table which have like multiple columns and then the metadata, and then you can have multiple entities related each other in a one-to-one and one-to-many relations. All right, okay, so let's move to entity relationships. So entity relationship, as I mentioned, that it's got two, one to many and many to many. In a one to many relationship, it's like a parent and the child relation. So just like one parent and multiple childs, and so just like that's a relationship. So you have like and then I just mentioned, there's many to one, one to many, or many to one is just like a relation as parent to their children. As the many to many relationship is just like you have a different code set, and you have in a like in one entity you have a different code, and another entity you have a different code. So there could be a relationship of many to many, like one record can be attached to many other records in other entity, and other entity could have like other record which could be attached to different entities in sorry, different code in first entity. So it would be a many to many relationship. It could, you can see it's kind of a peers relationship. Like you can be like, I can report to multiple I could have like multiple manager based on my projects, and multiple projects could have like the multiple multi sorry sorry let me repeat again. So I could report to multiple project manager, and the multiple project manager could have like the different teams and the different peers, sorry, different subordinates or different teammates. So it could be a many to many. All right, so let's move to my next slide, which is fields. All right, so fields is like kind of a column in SharePoint list, so or a field or a column in a data table. So it is more than this, but you can take the like the same baseline concept as of this SharePoint or relation database as I've given you the example. So they are like they could be like multiple types of fields. As you can see, that would be text area, email, URL, and then the auto number, whole number, and currency. And then you can look up to you can look up to a call to field which is there in the another entity. So that's how you create a relation from one entity to another when you wants to attach that a column or that a field to another entity. So you can make it as a lookup, and then you can say, okay, this value would come up from the different entity. All right. Okay. So what I would do over here in my next example. In my example, I'll just quickly created an example like a few hours ago, and don't expect that much of things in that example. So basically, I got a 4-year-old kid, and he goes to daycare. And the daycare. Actually, I was wondering that could I make a application from a Power Platform, which could be like which could have a like a business scenario of a daycare. When a kid go to a daycare, he perform different activities like if he plays, or if he has a if he or she has a lunch, or a morning tea or afternoon tea, or how many times he go to loo, and then how many times he got his nappy got his or her nappy got change, or something like that, something different. So what I did that I'm just keeping like this business scenario because it's quite new, and it is quite current to me because my son is going to daycare. So just keeping this scenario, I created keep a couple of entities and the relationships. So I would show you now. Okay, so let me stop this presentation now, and what I will do, I'll switch to my. Let me just go to my environment. Just bear with me. I'm just searching. Yep. Let me close. Let me close something. I like. I have the habit of opening so many URLs, so I'll just close off everything, and yeah. So as you can see, I got a couple of entities. Now I would see into my different screen. So just bear with me that I am not looking at your on the camera. I would look into the different screen. All right. So This is my entities. As you can see, like and under the data, you can see the entities and the relationships as well. So as you can see, these are my entities, and the under different columns. So as you can see, there's a column name, type, customizable, and text, as I've shown you in my earlier slide. And so okay, so what I did, that I created one entity over here, data daycare activities. So if I click on it, daycare activities, you can see that I got couple of columns which are there as a inbuilt as a default. So all the columns which are which are in the standard, so they are the default columns, or the default fields. So I can, or as you can see, I have like multiple. So let me sort it. Standard. Let me sort with the A to Z. So all this custom one I've created just a few hours back. So this is daycare activity start, kid name, activity, and that's it. And the rest of it are the new one, are the other standard fields. Excuse me. I got another another entity, and that entity is a daycare user. So what I'm thinking, what I have, how I have structured this entity is that. So I'm considering that there would be a one entity which holds all the activity details. That let's suppose that a morning tea would be one activity, a lunch would be another activity, play in the playground in a third activity, painting or drawing is another activity, and then I would say like who has performed this activity, and so all this one, and this my daycare user activity. This is a different. So this is. So over here in my activity, I'm considering that this is records for my users. So user could be my sorry, a user could be a teacher. It could be a manager. It could be owner of daycare, or it could be a parent of that kid, and it could be a guardian of that kid. So this is how I just divided these two entities. All right, and so what I did, that I've created two apps over here, and let me close these things. Leave, and I've created two apps. So I'll just open that up and show you those apps. So I've created two apps, daycare activities and daycare user management. So before jumping into apps, I would like to show you the different types of the entity. Yeah, I just before going to the apps, let's just cover this thing, and then we will go to the different tabs. So this is the relationship. So first tab is the relationship. So relationships, it should show the if this entity is related to any other entity, and if you want to add a relationship between this entity to any other entity, so you can do this one. So there's a add a relationship. So it would ask you, this is a many to one. So this is this is says this entity is a many to any other entity of the one entity, or it would be a one, this considering this entity is a one to the other as a many, or So and many to many. So many to many, just like peers to peers or whatever. Or as I've given you the example in my previous slides. So yeah, so this is a relationships, and as you can see, I can write the business rules as well. So if let's suppose that if there is a data logic, if someone inserted wrong data, so I can write a business excuse me, business rules as well. So I won't do over here. I won't go into this detail because I just would like to cover in this due time. So business rules. So and then uh, based on your data and based on your fields, so what it does that it will automatically create those views. So if you see, like I have a different, I have a view of active daycare and those all those views. So which is quite good that it would create those views and the form as well. So if I click on this form, so it will just show you the form. Uh, but I'll go back to my entity and dashboard as well. So like this is a coolest part. I think I've created one dashboard. Just I give it. I have tried it before. Let me just go back and see and dashboards. Yeah, so just like you create reports in your Power BI, so you need to create first chart and then you can put it into the pages and the dashboard. So likewise over here, so you need to create a chart based on the data you have. So I'll give you an example. I've already created one chart, so I just based on the data, I just created one chart, which is nothing because I haven't have that much data. So you can create multiple charts, and it does give you a different option that you can either create a pie or area bar, and then you can then put this chart into your dashboard. So let's suppose that if you want to see a detail of the data or the entity or the data within the entity, so you can go into the dashboard and then you can see all the charts within one dashboard. So which is quite cool, and I think it is quite handy for those. For the management to see like how is it working, and even if you see from the daycare perspective that a manager or the teacher they can see how the overall daycare is performing and how they are been doing it. Sorry, it's you might hear noises from my kid. He's in another room, so just ignore the different noises. All right, okay, so let me close this thing, and different keys. So you can likewise you can have a key which defines one to many, that if you want to identify that okay, this entity would be kind of a this entity, or this column, or this field would be a um, my primary key or primary ID. So over here you can define the primary key or the keys in this case. And the data, so over here it will show you the data over here, and then all the data which is being coming up, so you can see the data over here. Okay, and so let me go back and show you both of the apps. So and this is another one. Okay, just skip it. Let's skip it as well. So, okay, so this is my daycare user app. So what I'm doing that I'm just adding the user over here, and this users will be available on my other Power Apps application. So what I would do, I will just run it. Let's run it from here. And so I would run this daycare user management, and let's see. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll just go to quickly, and then let's just see. Just bear with me. Sorry for the glitches. It's just part of the demos. All right. Okay. So what I will let it load the data. So the data is already here. So what I would do that I will add a new user over here. So I'll say this user. Okay, sorry. So this user would be so. Okay, first before adding it. So what I did that I added couple of users. So I added myself and I added my kid no name over here. So what I will do that I will add my wife name, and I would say that this is she's a parent, and then we would we will go to a different other app. So let me add it over here and just say so we are in Sydney, and the number is something like that, and name is Hira, and she's parent, and save it, and then as you can see it's showing over here. And if I go back to my entity, so it should show me the user over there. So daycare user and data, and all right, so let's just go back again. And all right, okay, so all right. Okay, so what I will do that now I'll go to my other app, which is daycare activity. I'll close this one. Let me go to my another app. Just bear with me. All right, so let's see. Let's suppose that I want to mark the activities for my kid, and what I'll do that I'll add it over here. So I'll just dismiss all. Dismiss my notification, which is of this reactor session notification. So just dismiss it. And what I will do, I will click on this plus button, and yep. So I just say daycare activity. I would say morning tea. Morning tea, and then morning tea would be this and this, and then you can put the lodge, and then you can say morning tea start from 9:30 to 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. All right. And what I say is Ahmad, and like I just gone through. So I used the default name, so I can rename the name. It's not a problem. So just to save over time, I used the default name, or the name created by the system. Let me save it, and yeah, morning tea, and then I can say lunch and lunch and lunch and lunch. We start from 12 to 12:30. Start from 12 and end it till 12, and I'll pick my kid name, lunch, and then I just say, okay, and end of day, that at what time he gone off from his daycare. So I'll just go with 5 o'clock, and 5 o'clock, 17 is 5 o'clock, and yep. So activity start, so it would take around 5 minutes, I would say, start till end, like just to prepare all the departure ritual, like hand it over the bag and sanitize and different things. We are living in the COVID world, so all these things are hand sanitization and different stuff is just kind of a new norms now. And I just say Emma and save it, and yep. So this is how you can create different application based on the entities. Sorry, I just got distracted some between the different screens. So, but this is how you can do the entities and relationships, which comes under the umbrella of common data service, and then the common data model with the built-in entities and its relationships. So at the very end, what I would like to do, I would like to play a video, and before playing the video, I will go to my presentation, and yeah, so we are done with our demo. So let's move to my the last bit, which is Project Oakdale. So let's move to Project Oakdale, and let's watch a quick video from Microsoft, obviously, but it doesn't have any sound, so just looks, and I'll guide you what has been happening in this video, and then you can really enjoy, and you can really get the feeling that what the Project Oakdale is offering, is gonna offer for the teams and for the Power Platform, which is really remarkable and really fantastic. So let me go back to my thing, and then yep. So the idea behind the Project Oakdale is to provide the users or the power users ability to create power apps and virtual boards right into the teams. So it sounds so fantastic that you as a user, I don't require, as a user, as a power user, as a developer, I don't need to go to different places, open different browser, different applications to see my to create my power apps. I just go directly into the power teams and creates those power apps application, business application, and the power virtual board right through the teams, and which is quite good. So let's just play this video. So right now we're just creating an app, and after creating an app, it will create a new table, and then it will add a data into these tables. So as you can see, like it will just add different data, and then it will have different session like different fields, and it's meals as well. Sorry, my voice is here. All right, and always, and yep. Meal, yeah. So it's just filling up those values right into the Power Automate, like just to fill up the data and show the users. So it will like if it's showing you a capability like from the Power Apps itself, you can go into fill up your data and then go and then create the app or work on your CDS as well, like entities, and then create the and then work on the relationship and everything else as well. So let me go back. Let me go to my another slide. Yep. And so as you can see, like as I have mentioned in the video and in my description of the video when I was briefing, so it's delivered as a project out there is it's a low code data platform. So as we are moving into the direction of low code, Power App, Power Platform is knocking out mostly all the developers used to do in early days. Even if I see myself, it looks slow. It looks so threatening to the developer job. So it's so seamless. It's do almost everything which you can think like from top of your mind. And and if you see like you can do power apps kind of thing or virtual bots like the or like the virtual agent kind of things within your teams. It's so fantastic, so it's so real. And and then you can do whatever you can, and like through the teams you can have the same amount of functionality as you have in your power apps and the virtual agents. So you can have like the entities and entity relationships and whatever within your project Oakdale. um, and then yeah, so let's move to my next slide. And with the same as I mentioned, the virtual agent. So likewise, if we have to configure a bot, so it's kind of difficult. It's not a difficult. It's quite easy nowadays. But again, if as a power user, I don't want to go to different places or to Azure and to different places. I would just go into directly onto my Teams, and then I just work under the virtual agents, and then here's and it will be available to other users, other people in my team or other and within an organization. So it's so cool. um, i didn't um, I didn't get a chance to get like to get a hands on the project Oakdale right now, but on the side they're mentioning it's like it's coming in some days or some weeks. So I'm really looking forward for it, and it's really open the gates and open the different different scenarios serious sorry different scenarios, and open up different possibilities within the teams, and it will make the teams a best selling application within the Microsoft. I would say like Teams has done wonders, and with addition to these project Oakdale and different stuffs, it's taking the teams to a different level. Right, so I would end over here, and thank you guys. Thanks for listening to me. As I mentioned, my name is Shakir Majeed Khan, and you can chat, you can tweet me, and you can DM me on my Twitter handle, and you can go into my YouTube channel at SMK Geek Speak, and then or you can email me at shakir.majid@gmail.com, and you can go to my site shakirmajid.com. So thank you guys. Thanks for listening and bear me. It's been almost an hour for this session, and I would like to thank Nadia as well to host this session and to be very kind to host me. Thank you. Hello, Nadia.
Thank you for that. Just quickly, we do have a couple of questions for you, actually. Would you like me to read them out to you?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So first question is, how do I insert new records to an entity in a CDS database of Power Platform from an external application that's out of the Microsoft ecosystem? Is there an API?
There is an API. I didn't go into this scenario. I haven't faced that scenario, but there are ways to enter the data within this CDS. But I would come back and I can do a video on it on my YouTube. Yep.
Perfect. What's the difference of using Common Data Service if you're already using Power BI?
So basically, like, so let's suppose that if you are managing or your application on the Power Apps, the data is going to the Common Data Service. So you can then pull those information and show into the Power BI. So the Power BI would treat this as a same data source as it treating the other data source like a SharePoint or on a relation database or any other data source. Yep.
Perfect. I'm new to Common Data Surface. Could you elaborate a little bit more on the storage engine behind the scenes?
Yeah, so it is. So it sits within the cloud, and it will come with your subscription as well. I'm not sure about the licensing and everything, but it sits with this Office 365 domain, and then yeah, I think that's the question, right? Sorry, I forgot the question.
So that's okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to know just a little more on the storage engine behind the scenes.
Yeah, so the storage engine is with the Power Platform and the whole Office 365 world. So and yeah, so it will have and then you can, yeah. So that's a very good question. So you can sync this data with your data source as well, like with your Azure data lake. So you can sync that data with Azure data lake, and then you can sync back, like you can sync back and forth with your data in the Azure data lake. So you can treat it as a kind of a data source, this Azure data lake, but it sits with the Office 365.
Sure. Question that's just come in. It'll be interesting to see how administrators would manage all the Power Apps made by all those Teams users. Any thoughts on this as a challenge?
Yeah, so I think like the users, like the team users, so they would be like we can have like the different role-based security or access, and then we can define that who can create an app or who can use the app, like. So this kind of thing can be done, like it is right now, it can be done as well. So but it can be done through the teams, like if we are thinking about from the project Oakdale perspective, so it can be done, it can be done through that as well. Yep.
Awesome. Last question that we have, and it's, what's your favorite feature of Power Apps?
My favorite feature of Power Apps is low code or no code solution. Is just like Power Apps is so good. I've been using Power Apps, and when I show to different clients, and they just simply like jumps off from their seats, and they were saying that, can we do it? Can we do it by ourselves? And then, and you would be very like surprised to know that like all these power apps and the power automate is being driven by the power user, like no developer, nothing. All those guys who are very good in Excel, writing those formulas in Excel, or they have like the capabilities to think and to put the formulas to think logically. They can really build a fantastic application by using Power Platform. It's so good.
Awesome, thanks for that. So that's the last of the questions. If you do have any more, please leave them in the Q&A box and we can address them at the end. But if not, I thought I'd just take everyone through a couple of the events that are coming up at the Microsoft Reactor, and also where you can find out some more information. So we upload all our events to the Microsoft Reactor Sydney Meetup channel, which is the link here in the slide. You can also follow us on Twitter, where you'll be able to access and have a look at some of the global events, and all our sessions are recorded and put on our YouTube channel as well. So I'll pop the links in the Q&A just to make it a little bit easier for you. If you're interested about what the Reactor is, or interested in getting involved and actually come on a live stream with us, feel free to email us at reactorset@microsoft.com and we can get back to you. I've also popped a few links in the description, the Q&A box already, just about giving some feedback on the session as well. So the survey link is in there, and I've popped the event code in, which is 11734. We do that just so we know which session you were talking about for us. So a couple of sessions that we do have coming up is dashboards and analytics for Office 365. So looking at Microsoft Graph, Activity API, and Power BI. So in this session, we'll look at how to quickly build a localized data store by capturing Office 365 audit logs and then enriching the display info in Power BI to make advanced reporting. We then have another session called Intro to Microsoft Learn, how to prepare for certifications with an expert. So this is a really new session that we are having, and we're going to be talked through with an MVP, Lisa Crosby. She's going to take us through the whole journey of what Microsoft Learn is, how you can access all the free documents to prepare yourself to get certified for Microsoft certification exams. And another session we have is Tokenize All Things with Azure Blockchain. So this talk will give everyone an overview of blockchain, tokens, smart contracts, EIPs, and how you can get started in minutes using Azure. So I don't see any questions that have come through. So I just wanted to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you, Shakir, for coming on and taking time out of your evening to come and talk to us about what's new with Common Data Service, and touching base as well on the Microsoft Project Oakdale, which sounds like a really exciting venture to come.
Yes. Thank
Awesome.
you.
So thank you everyone
Thanks,
for joining,
guys.
and we will speak to you next time. Have a great night. Bye.
You too. Bye.